Yes, greetings. Can you hear me?
I can hear loud and clear, Siayome. You're live. Welcome.
Brilliant. How you doing, Sard? You good?
I'm good. Yes.
I heard some of the show, and now that I'm kind of tuning in, how I'm doing this show.
Sure.
I'm getting time to kind of listen into some of your shows, and I would say that today the energy I felt with Brother Gregory and the question and the topic of your show was very good.
Okay.
I felt he gave some good, deep insight, spiritual insight to your questions. You know what I mean? Answers and so forth. I felt it was very good, bro. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much. That's
yes.
Yeah,
it was very good. And your questions were good questions.
Yes.
Because when to help, when to assist.
Yes.
It is a thing that, where, under the intellectual conditioning, a lot of people are made to feel guilty if they don't help someone because this is something that it should be because of, you should be doing this and how you get judged if you don't play out a certain script. There's that intellectual level of where we're being conditioned. And this makes one susceptible to being, like Gregory was saying about intuition of the spirit within the soul, the knowing that sees beyond the surface layer of what is being presented. Because we know that there are people, I've been on a train where you got women that would actually suckle their baby in front of you, and with a note saying, help me please, because of, and using this emotional manipulation to get people to act upon the intellectual conditioned program based on a lot of this religious idea and judgment of good and bad and helping someone and how that judges you if you're a good person or not a good person and being kind or unkind. And people get caught up in those dilemmas inside themselves. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And, there's things we all go through. But then, the intuition of the soul, the knowing, which gets to the truth without all the intellectual processing. You know what I mean? It's,
exactly.
It's like knowing without intellectually going through a process of knowing how you know. Intuition is that knowing that does come through with the vivacity and the life of spirit, as Gregory was saying. I don't want to reiterate everything he said because he's already said it. I just wanted to give my response to what I managed to hear, and I said it was a very good show, bro. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Good answers and good questions.
I'm glad you saw that part of it. At the beginning, I'm afraid we had some technical issues. There was echoes. There was he couldn't hear me. There was only a few little issues, and it took a while before we got going. But I'm glad you caught the best part of it. So thank you for that. Thank you.
I mean, it's the best that you want all the time. You know
That's it. So I really do appreciate that. Yes. Okay. I won't be staying tonight. I will be joining you at least for a couple of shows in February, I would say. But I really do have a great show for tonight. And is there anything you want to tell the listeners about what your topics are tonight, what you're going to talk about tonight?
Well, I have advertised it, and it's going to be about, I wasn't even going to go into this type of topic to do with the coronavirus because, I wasn't really going to go into it, but there's a different angle that I was called up by, a good brother here, who I'm going to be, he's going to be calling in later to go into this particular topic of the show, which is about, it's about the corona, the crown, the crown of the north wind versus the coronavirus. Okay. And this is going to be very interesting to understand the astrological or the correspondence as above, so below.
Yes.
And when everything takes place on this plane, the way the government operates and, so forth, the system, nothing's put out willy-nilly, as nothing is just put out randomly. They correlate with transits. They correlate with the, the orbital cyclical movements of planets and understand the inner hidden energies that transits activate and the time when various heavenly bodies align, okay, to activate and indicate particular times, like in cosmic clock time, as we're in this time and space, where things take place and play out, okay? And so all of these have an order and an eventful sequence that can be manipulated. And, you know, a lot of folk, the reason why the word occult means hidden is that a lot of folk don't understand that beyond the surface, there is another realm, okay? What is hidden, okay? What is visible and what is non-visible. And this aspect is, you know, where the awareness for ones to understand that the existence beyond the five senses, okay? And understand how things are taking place, that if you don't understand the spirit, your inner being, and understand your connection to the greater whole of reality as a universal multidimensional entity, then you don't understand how things are staged, set up, problem, reaction, solution, that gets, and even predictive programming takes place to manipulate people's perceptions and distract them with where their attention then becomes focused. And where attention goes, energy flows. So if attention is being manipulated to flow in a direction which kind of facilitates a lower frequency of fear and pandemonium for people to be caught up in, not realizing how they're perpetuating or feeding in a certain particular frequency, that begins to amplify. When that is being manipulated and there's a higher frequency you are being distracted from.
If I can just add something to that. Sorry,
yeah, go on.
Sorry, I just got a WhatsApp, not just now, I got a WhatsApp a few days ago. This is supposed to be from some, well, I think somebody published online, but it says 1720 plague, 1820 cholera outbreak, 1920 Spanish flu, 2020 Chinese coronavirus. What's happening? There is a theory that every 100 years a pandemic happens. At first glance, nothing seems strange, but the accuracy with which these events take place is scary. And it's I believe, but it's very hard to tell this. I don't know if it's a journal or something. It was published on 26 January 2020, this article, or I'm not sure if it's an article, it seems to be just a observation in Earth Unexplained. I don't know if this is a magazine or what. But anyway, this is what they're pointing out. 1720 was this plague, 1820 was the cholera outbreak, and then 1920 was Spanish flu, and now 2020 is the Chinese coronavirus. So maybe that will be some food for thought, let's say. So, but I'm going to take my leave if that's okay with you. I'm going to take my leave now. So, I'll join you another time.
All right, Sard.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And we will talk soon.
Yeah.
And yes, you have a good journey home.
Thank
you. We'll talk again.
Yep. Take care.
Thank you. You too. All right. So, greetings, y'all. Yes, my cosmic soul brothers and sisters, you are tuned in again to another Cosmic Roots show. Cosmic Roots, Reality of One's True Self's show. You can tune in live via YouTube, Bless Radio 1, type that in, and you can tune into it live streaming right now. Or you can tune into it via the internet. It's more comfortably, more practical for you. You tune in to type in blessradio.co.uk, and with that you will be able to tune in via the website, or you can tune in via the TuneIn app that you can download from Google Play Store, and you tune in to look for Bless Radio, and you will see the flower of life. They say flower of life is the flower of light, but you know what I mean? Life illuminates light. So you'll see that symbol with Bless Radio written on it. So you can tune in those ways. Okay, well, yes, this is Brother Siayome, aka Cosmical Mystic, a Ab Onkrem, and I'm gonna, this show this evening is, yes, promoted it a little bit. We're gonna be having a caller come in, and you're familiar with this caller. We're gonna be calling in from the galactic through the cosmic, and yes. So this show this evening is going to be the Corona Crown of the North Wind and the Corona Epidemic. So with this title, you can see where, what the show is going to be consisting of. So I'm going to give a little introduction, and because as I said, I wasn't going to go into touch this coronavirus thing because of what I've already explained to Sard at the beginning. That has, you know, because there is a stage planned of these events, okay, and it seems very crazy to quite to others to imagine, because there's that reaction, you know, and even folk you may not even think would actually get caught up in it in the way that, you know, the wave of it, what's been going out, getting caught up in it. You think, wow, okay, so it's not to judge, it's to observe and discern and go, okay, what's So what I'm gonna do is it's interesting, because what Sard, the little bit the WhatsApp message he said he received, it was showing you there's a pattern. This is not the first time these things have come out as so. You know, you got the Tuskegee experiment all back then with the syphilis and all of that. You know, you've got the smallpox outbreak. You got these things that are, you know, create these pandemonium, yeah? And when you're talking about coronavirus, corona, let's break up this word. Corona means crown. Look it up. Corona comes from the corona of the sun, which is where the term crown comes from, and why the crown is at the head, okay? Symbolizing the sun, the illuminated one, okay? You see soul, sun, crown, corona, king, sovereign. You see, all of this is correlated. So then you're now going to have virus. Now the word virus goes, you know, I go to etymology. I don't go to, what I'm told to believe, this word is so forth, and we know language has its limitations and all that. But in the context that I'm coming here to bring this thing to you, this insight, is you go to the etymology. So virus breaks down to mean slimy liquid. And this was associated with the venom of the snake, okay? So the venom of the snake, poisonous, yeah. So slimy liquid, virus, okay? So something goes virile, goes all over the place. Oh, it's gone viral, that, yeah? Now, so you're dealing with a slimy liquid, and you're dealing with crown, slimy liquid. What's going on here? Now, there has been talk about the origin, and I'm just saying talk. I'm not saying that this is fact or so, but you know, how this virus came about and so forth. And was saying a snake and a bat had a flu, and this flu then kind of jumped onto man somehow. Then it got spread. Okay, all right. So this is where I'm saying this virus. If you notice, you got a snake in the picture here. Okay, which is what I was saying that virus means as slimy liquid, referring to the poison or the venom of a snake. Okay, so a snake in the back had a flu, and this flu has jumped to man somehow, and yeah. And then now this thing about this coronavirus, who give these things these names. Anyway, then there's talk about how this thing is being patented. I've seen some research dealing with 2007. I was just told the other day with a different point of view that it was in 2015. Anyway, the point being, this thing is being patented. Okay, so this was created and someone owns it. And then there was a vaccine. And then the very same people who were behind making it, the ones who painted it, the various antidote. Okay, but I don't want to go into that in that way because there's other stuff I want to go, and I may come back into that to show you about how the problem, reaction, solution scenario works. But we're going to be coming from this from a more cosmic, as cosmic roots, and we're dealing with the cosmical correspondence to these events that are taking place. Yeah, why they're coming out now, and why they're, through observation, you notice there's a pattern behind them. Okay, it's not the first time. There's nothing new under the sun, and therefore, you know, there is a pattern. Something becomes a little bit, you know. Now, it's just saying that nothing's new under the sun. Before I go any further, I'm going to play you a tune. Now, this tune was done by the Ethiopians, and I'm laughing because this tune here is this tune was done in 1969. And it was by a reggae group called the Ethiopians. Now, this tune is titled Hong Kong Flu, right? Just soon as I said, you know, there's nothing new under the sun, I remembered, oh yeah, this tune here, when it was sent to me. So, I'm going to play this tune. Get yourself together, brother. All right, so I'm going to play this tune by the Ethiopian. Then I'm going to come back and break some things down as a further introduction to what this show is building up to be. And then I'll be calling in my caller. So one moment. So listen to this tune here. This is by the Ethiopians, and it's called Hong Kong Flu, y'all. Yep, 1969. All right. You have to rub up with some Kalanga water. Yeah, you know what Kalanga water is, yeah? Cuts away bad vibes and things, you know. But yeah, it's like a cologne. Yeah, rub up, yeah, with Kalanga water. Now check that out. Yes, some say it is just a fever, but what them say? Them say it's Hong Kong flu. Yeah, back in 1969 by the Ethiopians. Okay, check it out. Yeah, think I'm just no, you know, it is there, you know, so you can tune into that on the YouTube. Now, so as I was, what I was saying, let me just open up the page here and broaden it out. Okay, so that was Hong Kong flu. Wow, I mean, you couldn't make these things up, could you? From since 1969. Okay. Now, what I'm showing you, what I'm going to go into here, just go back to understanding that from an astrological perspective, from a cosmical, astrological perspective here now, view. Remember, we have been dealing with a lot of, since 2008, we have been dealing, Pluto entered into Capricorn. Then, you know, we've had Saturn return to Capricorn, okay? And then we've had this long awakening of Saturn conjuncting Pluto in Capricorn, okay? And then we end up having Jupiter, you know, making a transit into Capricorn now, all right? And, you know, then we had the sun, we had the solar eclipse in Capricorn, the south node of the moon, which is the past, according to this side of the hemisphere. And we have a lot of energies, right, moving through Capricorn, concentrated in Capricorn, all right? And yes, Capricorn represents the establishment, okay? Authority and so forth, you know, structure, definition, you know, the father, you know. Opposite that is Cancer, representing the mother, the nurturing, okay? But there's deeper layers to what all of this is. So I'm just giving you a certain basic aspect of this for a moment, just to make you understand the framework, you know, to understand the context. There's been a lot of energy dealing with Capricorn, all right? Now, I said to you some times ago on the show about when we had this Saturn and Pluto conjunction, before it and during it, after, you know, during it, after it, and, you know, the energies and what's been building up and so forth has been getting stronger. And, you know, I'm not going to go back reiterating on all the different type of levels of the psychological complexities and the clearing and all what's coming up in order to align with your true self. All of it supports this, but I did mention about this conjunction that took place with Saturn and Pluto is something that had not taken place for 735 years. And that means you go back, that's 1284 century, 13th century, where we were dealing with the Crusades. Now, I've done some notes, and I just had to put these notes how they come, and just to stay on point. So let me just break something down to you. Pluto has been deconstructing the old systems, the old power systems, the old God in Capricorn establishment, okay? Saturn, representing time, control, and authority, has been stripping us back to the bare framework so that we can build outwards from the inside out something of lasting worth. But within the old guard, the control matrix, the last time Saturn and Pluto met in Capricorn was around the time of the Crusades, 1284, which was 735 years ago, as I've already saying, I'm just repeating it because there is a thing with this number. Okay, so Saturn, being the god of time, links us to the Templars. Yeah, you know about the Knights Templars. Now, temp, T-E-M-P-S, in French is time. So Templars is related to time. Very interesting. Okay, and how, all right, it's related to time, and you're dealing with the Templars. And the word temp, I don't know how they pronounce it in France, but it means time. Okay, so this is time of the Templars with Saturn linking to Chronos, time, chronology. So they come in with their crosses, enforcing their system across the world, enslaving all the other cultures that make us stand and dominate. So if we take that Templar energy now, time, right, Templar, that we are seeing breaking down now with the destruction of the control system, that the Templars were actually the ones that created the banking system, right? Capricorn all relates to the banks, okay? To, you know, establishment system. It's rules the 10th house, which is about status and your voice of authority you have in society. You know, it's those big towers, all right, like them Trumpy towers, okay? So that's you're dealing with, that's representing the Capricorn energy building up, you know, structure, establishment, okay? So it correlates to the banking system. So you're dealing with the Templars, as I'm just breaking it down and explaining. So I'll keep on point. So they had all the gold, okay? And then people would leave their gold, all right, and take promissory notes on paper, which is what you call money today. And if you look on it, you'll see it's a promissory note, yeah? So they made a lot of money out of these religious wars, out of banking. And now it's interesting to see the banking system is falling down. So one aspect of this, if we look at the banking system, we will probably be going back to a gold-backed system, right? As the federal bank falls down over the next few years, but also this coronavirus, which is the topic today, corona being crown, okay? There are huge questions, question marks as to whether it's real or not, or whether these quarantine sites are actually a cover to go in around and round up the current Rothschild banking, which has been hiding behind China since 2008 and falling in China at the moment. So just making a connection there, you see, just making a connection there, you know, with the falling down with the old system, but its origins are in the Templars. And then what we're seeing falling down today, and the correlation with the things like the coronavirus, all right? All right? And I said corona means crown, okay? Right? And how it looks like, you know, we could be returning to a gold, back to this gold, okay? Now check the gold symbolizing, because we're now dealing with Saturn symbolizes lead. And when you're dealing with this alchemy, where you also have Mercury, and Mercury's getting ready to do some things, all right, now. And so we're dealing with alchemy, an alchemical process taking place here too, where you're transforming lead, right? Lead is heavy, man, dense. And oppression is a density of energy, you know, it's a dense thing, it's heavy, yeah? And you're dealing with a system that's been set up from 1284. And the cycle has come back around, complete a whole cycle year, all right, where there is the breaking down of the old system and what it was built upon, the foundation of it, Saturn, what the structure was built upon. And with Jupiter in there, you got belief systems. You also got the faculty of intuition. But you can see that the context, because of where all these energies is concentrated in, the archetype, Capricorn, right? You're dealing with churches as well as banks, you know. So there's when Clyde, Galactic Clyde, on the show the other Tuesday, Other Strong, when he was mentioning that Jupiter in Capricorn is a detriment, where it is exalted in its opposite polarity, which is Cancer. So in the detriment, it's rather than the expansion and the spiritual nurturing of spiritual truth and wisdom and knowledge that Jupiter in Cancer would be as the nurturing energy, what it would be nurturing with you, what you would be nurtured with. Yeah? With Jupiter being in Cancer. With Jupiter in Capricorn, it will be more of, and with what we got Pluto in there and we got Saturn, it's going to be a deconstruction of the foundation of what all those beliefs, all right, these man-made into stuff to oppress and how, other nations and people, what I've just explained, the foundation of what those beliefs, okay, were based upon. All of that's going to be deconstructed, you see. So this, when you're dealing with a deconstruction, that which has gone up, you're observing, going to go down. But with a deconstruction also comes a reconstruction, but a new construction based upon what can emerge from within ourselves that is worthy and lasting, based upon the foundations of spiritual truth or universal knowledge, or what one would say, using the natural laws as the foundation of what we produce from within ourselves, that which is in alignment with universal laws, okay? Because Capricorn sextile supports Pisces, you see, all right? So water supports earth, but we've had this extreme polarization for 735 years when how this system was set up. So we are going through an alchemical process as well. You got in the banking system people returning back to gold, thinking about returning back to gold as a basic standard, which what things were based on before. These promissory notes and these religious wars, killed off a whole heap of people, and a certain group of people, those Templars, had a whole heap of gold, okay? And yeah, and they wanted to run, wear the crown, walk around with the crown. And you got to understand the Knights Templars, when you're dealing with the cross, the Red Cross, right? Where you've seen the Red Cross also, all right? So, different form, but same intentions. Well, I won't say anything more of that. So we're going through this alchemy, gold, and raising lead to gold, and possibly returning to a gold-based system. So you can see where this conjunction has come full circle as a cycle. So now what's all this now to do with what the title of the show is? The title of the show. The title of the show, the corona. And as I said, corona is crown. The crown of the north wind and the coronavirus epidemic. Well, at this point, who I'm going to call in is Brother Galactic Clyde, if he's tuning in, because, yeah, straight through from the Galactic Center, y'all. So when he's ready, he will make his appearance. So we're going to go into this because, hang on a sec. Yeah. Arrange myself in here. So let me get into my other screens here. All right, remind myself of some notes I put down. So you got this corona crown virus now. And, why do you call it this? Now, the thing is that you got an epidemic. You got problem, reaction, solution. You've got a whole different time coming in, a whole different energy. We talk about the Aquarius. This is the reason why I said the inundation of knowledge, but spiritual knowledge, knowledge of soul, to wake up, to remember your spirit, true, real origin. Yeah? And your place in the infinite cosmos, okay? Or the boundless cosmos. So we're in this particular time where, as the energies are rising, or rising in one instance, where in this plane of polarity, if something is going down, then the polarity opposite is that something must be going up, okay? As you see with sine waves, okay? You have the peaks and the troughs, and the peaks and the troughs, and that's how it goes, okay? You breathe in, you breathe out, all right? The balance. So deconstruction, there's going to be a reconstruction. If there's going to be a fall, there's going to be a rise. You see, this is the pattern, this is the balance of nature. Natural laws, observant in everything. So when you're in harmony with these natural laws, you're more in tune with the spirit of your being, knowing yourself as the soul, the sovereign, unique expression of source. Your mind, your emotional body, and your physical vessel for the soul is an instrument for soul, spirit, to express and shine through the personality, which is a personification through sound in form of what has now become the physical vehicle that makes us all visible to one another on this plane. But we have a greater self, which is non-physical, and is where we enter into the realms beyond the five senses, to where you hear the term the sixth sense, to be the doorway towards the spiritual, beyond the physical, the higher consciousness of thyself, as the deep inner I, rather than the surface self, that is the mask, persona, and the garment. So there is the time we're in, that all that has been used to oppress and distort with these erroneous beliefs based upon corrupt foundations, people to forget and not know themselves, and therefore transfer their power away to these force authorities. But these force authorities, external authorities, because it's an external authority, it's a force authority, in the sense that what wants to wield and direct your mind, governmentalists, okay? All of this for the manipulation so they can wear the crown, okay? All of this was so they could wear the crown, all right? But the crown is getting kick off, knocked down. And then there is crowns that are going to be replaced or raised upon those who are rising. The last show was called The Rising from the Fall. And all of this stuff happens in cycles, man. And it's not coincidental. So I'm going to bring in Brother Clyde here, and we take this to another level so Clyde can explain, because he said, hey, yo, man, you got to do a show on this. So this is how it came through. And we're going to go into Scorpio constellation, Coronus Borealis, to where you got the word corona, crown. Yes, Brother Clyde, I listen. we're on air now, so I'm just gonna link you up to. Are you ready? Are you cool to talk now? Are you? Yeah, because we got a lot we're gonna go through, right? So we don't want to kind of burn up the time. So just 1 second. Let me just hook this up. Okay, you can talk. Hang on a second. Yeah. 1 second, brother. Plugging things in and plugging things out. And right, Clyde, you there? Can you hear me? Clyde. Greetings. Brilliant. Just arranging something here to make sure. Clyde, you're gonna have to call back. I don't know why this thing cut out. Okay. Cosmic Soul brothers and sisters, you're still tuned in to Cosmic Root Show. This is Brother Siayome. And this show is about the crowning of the North Wind versus the coronavirus. And you're going to hear some things you may or may not have heard before. But at the end of this, you'll have a better way of how to deal with all of this stuff here, if you're caught up. But listen. Greetings. You're back again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, me hear you now. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, I don't know. Were you tuning in to what I was saying?
Yes,
earlier?
I was tuning in. I think I missed the last bit, but yeah.
Okay. Well, just get my screen up here. What else is going on? All right. So, Clyde, you felt very strong to do this. What's going on here? I think are you still there, Clyde? We got this where we keep talking about technology. And it is what it is. So this is loud up here. And y'all who are tuning in, if you can loud, let me know. Whoa, we got some volume here. Yes. Greetings, Clyde. All right, let's just go into this because those of you who are tuning in can let me know if. Oh man. Okay, look like we got some. What we got is some internet problem issue. Looks like a few of that was going on earlier. And we got to work through this. It's like some folk will go, but it's maybe what you're going into, is why the no want if it's talk about it star and all of that, Yeah, you can look at it that way if you choose. But you can also look at it like, well, things happen, and the challenges actually give you the opportunity to approach things with an attitude of gratitude, because that challenge brings up more vital spirit in you, and you say, yeah, I'm going to move through this. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's these challenges come up to bring out the better in you, rather than resigning to, it's in the no want if it did this and the no want if it did that and all of that business. So let's say your perspective, you know what I mean? Okay, so something's going on. I wonder if you would phone in the studio number then, and got to find a way of doing this. Okay. Greetings. I don't know what's happening here, Clyde, but it looks like let us just get in on it. So Yes, Soul brothers and sisters, we have Galactic Clyde on air with us right now, and we're going to go into deeper, farther into and higher about this, get some clarity, right, on this Crown North Wind versus coronavirus. So Clyde, come forward.
Yes, greetings. I don't know what happened. It's like the last wind is blowing. So we just have to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, very interesting that, the whole connection between the name of the virus and the planetary, or what they call the fixed star connection.
Mm-hmm.
Corona is a fixed star in the constellation of a Scorpio.
Right, in Scorpio, right?
Yes. And people may wonder what we're talking about when we say fixed stars. We know that there is what is called planets and stars are one and the same, except that the planets, what we know, the word planet is come from the Greek, means stars that move.
Mm.
The fixed stars are actually stars that have a slow moving trajectory where they would move in astrology once every 72 years.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have a long span in terms of their movement.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why they're called fixed stars, because they're not fast moving like the planets.
So that's why planets also break down to mean wandering stars.
Yes,
yeah.
Because they're moving stars that move.
Yeah.
Which is they move, all of these stars move, but these are more rapid. The planets are more rapid movement.
Yeah. Right.
Than what is known as the fixed stars.
All right.
And so the fixed stars work as an active above the planet in the sense of how the energy operate. We also look into fixed stars based on the degree, which is orb between 1 to 2 degree orb, no wider orb in terms of the connection with the birth chart when we're doing astrology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fixed stars are very, very, very important, and a lot of the names and a lot of historical connection that we may have, or you can trace to fixed stars. So when sometimes you hear the word, have you born in a lucky star? It's not talking about the planet, but it's talking about the fixed star.
Yeah.
And that's how that goes. When we talk about fixed star, we talk about stars such as Sirius, Orion, things like that. People are familiar with the Great Bear.
Yeah.
These things. Yeah.
Star systems. Oh, yes,
so
exactly.
The fixed star, Corona.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the word Corona means crown. It's Latin for crown.
Yeah.
And so there is a star system called Corona, the crown of the North Wind.
Right. And this is in the Corona Borealis constellation, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I've been looking into that star system for a while, Corona Borealis, because it's rooted in an African, in the African context. It's actually, it have a different name and connotation in terms of its
interpretation.
What it represents.
What it represents. Yeah.
Well, what it represents and its significance. They call it burn is here, or it's also connected with the what they call it, the child in the Madonna.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a different story there.
Yeah, seems like we'll be going in there. So, bringing in this, before I go there, you heard the tune I played earlier in the show by the Ethiopians. They did this in '69 called Hong Kong Flu, right?
Yes.
Now, wouldn't you find that quite interesting that we have this epidemic pandemonium going on? We have a tune called Hong Kong Flu back in 1969.
Right.
We have patterns of these viruses being created for the World Health Organization, right? And we have these repeated stage events.
Cycles, yes.
Cycles. You see what I mean? That keep occurring that relates to the same thing. Yeah, right? And
yes, well, what stands out? Should I go into that?
Yeah.
What stands out here when we talk about 69? We know last week we were on the radio, we were talking about the connection with 68, 69.
52.
The difference is 51, 52 years.
52 years, yeah. Yeah.
And so we're looking at the synchronic code here in connection to the virus or the return of a pandemic or virus in that sense. And even the name, the significance of the name, because then we look at the, we know that we synchronized this year with 1968.
Martin Luther King.
That's how we work.
Yes, and Martin Luther King, 68. Yes.
Right, just that's the death of Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And so where we're talking about here, we're talking about the connection with the virus and also the crown.
Yeah.
The corona, because the virus itself, as they're explaining, it looks like a corona or a crown. Because it forms a kind of circular crown shape.
Okay.
In that sense, when it's viewed from the microscope. Hence it's called corona. Which really means the crown.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then we also there is also some deeper metaphysics and meaning in connection to the name and the connection, because when we look at the timeline for 52 or the synchronic code every 52 years, and this starts a new cycle, which is we call the white wizard, the white magnetic wizard. And when it's said magnetic, because now magnetic means the one, the first, the beginning, there's 13 different wizards in terms of the system of the Zolkin. And so the magnetic wizard would be the first one. And then you got the lunar, then you got the electric, all the way to 13 wizard.
Okay.
But that takes 52 years in its entirety in terms of the span.
Right, to complete the 13-year cycle. To complete the
yes, and we know that the 52 represents the pack of cards, which is quite interesting. When we put all this together, we know this is like a full cycle.
And then just injecting.
Sorry?
I was just going to just inject in there 5-2 makes the 7. Just saying the 5 and 2 makes the 7 too as well.
The 7.
And then now we're dealing with the mystery and the inner knowledge to the self. And 7.
Yeah, well, then when you add the 7, when you put the 5 and the 2 and you talk about 7, you also go back to crown. Because 7 is a crown chakra. So we right back to the same corona here. We can't get away from it. So what is happening when you reach 7, when you reach the crown? What is happening when we reach these cycles that are very important is that what people need to realize that in the metaphysics, in the hidden, in the occultic, in the nature of what is happening, is that there's something is brewing in terms of like this year or under the cycle of the 52-year cycle or the synchronic code is where the birth of a new cycle, which means that the birth also of different people getting their crown or losing their crown.
All right.
Yes? Because we know that, if we have to look at different cycles, it's like there's a title that goes with it. And when we look back to 1968, Martin Luther King was, his name even signified his being a king.
Yeah.
And in terms of instead of he being crowned, he's been dethroned because of the assassination of King. And so when we look at that cycle to now, we see that the year started out with an assassination, which means that the ethos is that they want to destroy instead of building. Yeah. They want to take away instead of giving. People's power, people's energy. And so that's why it's important for us to realize in this day and time what the cycles of life is and what we're going through and how we need to maintain victory so that we may wear the crown. Because many people are going to be crowned under this cycle, this new cycle. That's going to be the leaders for tomorrow or leading off the cycle. So when we talk about corona, we talk about crown, we talk about people are going through a lot of challenges at this time. But your challenge is what gives you your power to be the next leader of tomorrow or the next leader of the 52-year cycle in that sense. So people have to, it's important for people to realize that we're in a very important, challenging time, 2019, 2020, because that is the cycle that makes or breaks for people.
And it's interesting when we're saying this as well, with not to go too much in whatever direction this goes, but with Kobe Bryant and what happened with him, yeah. And you can say there was the crown there. You know, he aspired to become the best basketball player.
So he was being dethroned.
Right.
But then I look at another aspect of that stands out for me. His both names, K and B, which is Kobe Bryant, they're both number 2.
Oh,
that's the 22.
22.
Which is 2020. He's got the 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
The 22, master number 22. So his name, Kobe Bryant, the first name and last name have the master number 22 as the first initial of his name, of both names.
Both names. Yeah, look at that. And
says a lot there.
Yeah, it does. And what he built, you know, through how he chose to better himself, you could say, or bring out the best in himself. And a lot of what I've heard him talk about, you know, life coaching originated from sports, you know what I mean? And his, you know, when I listen to his, what he shares to inspire and uplift, you see it's life coaching, and that it originated from sports coaching, which actually can be utilized in all areas of your life, because through sports, people were, you know, coaches were trying to get the best out of their, you know, who they're training, but came to realize that it wasn't about their physical ability necessarily. It was something either emotional or some block coming from, you know, something deep down. And it's in addressing these things that enabled and being supportive and making the individual, how can you say, accountable, you know what I mean, for themselves, to, you know, break through these limited belief systems, because this is what a lot of the coaches realized was the problem behind the, you know, the sports guys, whether they're a football player, an athlete. What was holding them back wasn't that they didn't have the ability within them to be the best in whatever field that they chose, but it was because of the limiting beliefs, you see, that they carried within. And the coaching came about to help dissolve that and help it self-empower people. You see what I mean? So then you get life coaching today, coming from that, and it's good, you know, because you can go into specialize into any different type of branch. I'm aware of all of this and that, but it's just the symbology as well and the timing of these things. Because I mentioned earlier about predictive programming in movies or in cartoons, and I came across something the other day, which it was aired in 2016 on the Comedy Channel, and it was a cartoon, The Legends of Columbine, and it was with Kobe Bryant was in this, and
that's another the same name, the Columbine. That's the
Columbine. That's it. Columbine. Yeah, right. And in that series in 2016, in that cartoon, there was a helicopter crash. Kobe was in it, and with all these trophies and that, and you know, it was like, hang on a minute, you've made this explosion of him in a crashing in a helicopter in 2016. Okay, and we know that in other things there's been these predictive programming. Where with the 9/11 thing and these Boston stuff, marathon killer or whatever, all of this stuff has been depicted in these cartoons or on their comedy channels, okay? And this predictive programming, you know, when you then see an event take place and it's like, hang on a second, this was what? You know, you see that on a like, hang on, they made a cartoon about that how many years ago? You know what I mean? 14 years ago. You're like, um, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what's this? Is that's not just some random coincidence, and you see it repeating itself. Okay, now some people jump into it and give it, because it's Illuminati and they're there to kill off people, them, and so forth. And the thing is, it's like you can jump into that, but there's another thing when you're dealing with collective consciousness and how people are susceptible to suggestions through the movies and through the cartoons and through the news, and because it's a science of how to bypass the conscious mind to plant suggestions in the subconscious. And then when you're dealing with the collective unconscious, it's like the people who kind of energize or are receptive to those suggestions, they become kind of a collective field that energize the storyboard. You understand what I mean? Of the idea within themselves, because what they focus upon and what they're unconscious of. And when that builds to a strong enough field, then it draws in, that consciousness form draws in the physical manifestation or the actualization, okay, of what's being held in consciousness, right? So there's that other aspect of it to say, well, it's not like folks are going out and hiding behind, walls and in cars and dressed in black with dark glasses and, taking so people out and sabotaging their things that you see in the movies. You know what I mean? It's like that itself is like a thing that is put out there to flip people out. You get what I mean? To again create a way of deflecting people, from becoming more aware of what's happening. You see what I mean? And become more aware of themselves. So, you got that side, and then you got the side I just said about the power of consciousness that really brings it all back to the individual, like why we have to know ourselves beyond the five senses and this old beliefs system, that, again, Saturn's foundation or structure, and Jupiter there, belief system, and also dealing with the faculty of intuition, which has been suppressed through the belief system that was established back then, as I was saying, with the Crusades and so forth. And the foundation those beliefs were built upon is what, has what's been these limiting fear-based beliefs has become, got people caught up in this karmic stuff, not able to relate to who they truly is, to activate or reattune and relate to their intuitive nature, and see through this. But this is coming, it's interesting how this is all lining up still and coming on line, because you were saying with the White Wizard is what begins this wave, and how it is about the increase, it represents the increase in intuition. You see what I mean? So I'm feeling like the increase in the intuition for those to see through the illusion, coming on more as the deconstruction of the foundation of these old beliefs, these beliefs which are just oppressive beliefs and non-true, truth in it, are starting to fade away and tumble down. Yeah, tell me what you come in there.
Let me touch on that then. Well, when we talk of the White Wizard also rules the color white rules the direction of the north. And you know that when we talk about the corona or the crown, it's the crown of the north wind.
North wind,
and the people of the north.
Yeah.
So you would see a lot of things under this power of the White Wizard. You see a lot from the manifesting from the people that are of the more northern direction of the world, and also issues manifesting from north, because it's the power of the north, which is the north wind, and which is the corona. Excuse me. But let's go back to what we're talking about, the whole thing about the movie and how certain things that actually play out in the movie played out in real life. One thing that we need to realize that the planet that rules the movie system is Neptune, which is also home.
Yeah.
And being home, it can reflect on itself much easier than at other places.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the reasons why we're seeing things that are so synchronized with illusion and reality is because of the Neptune. location, being at home in Pisces, you can see somebody start maybe drawing or preparing a cartoon, and then it plays out in real life. Mm-hmm. It's just showing you that the time lapse is so accurate in that sense that things can be play out in the movie and play out in real life because of the power of the of where the planet Neptune is at home.
Yeah, so I'm in Pisces now.
Just reflection, because in the tarot card, Pisces represents the moon, and the moon card. The moon card is Pisces card.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we see that. But going back to the whole thing of the virus, what we people have to realize is that we have this concept that we say in society, let things go viral.
Yeah.
Because we know when we talk about viral, we talk about virus because it travels so fast.
Yeah.
Same thing when we said the light travels faster than the truth. And so when we look at virus as something negative, but something very fast, when it comes out to move it, but is that it's important how we use that concept when we want things moving fast.
Well, look at this. Just injecting there. Virus, earlier, if you heard, I said actually breaks down to mean slimy liquid. And it was associated to the the poisonous venom of a snake. And so you can see how snake move, right?
Yes.
And when we're dealing with liquid, how liquid flow, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then bringing this thing in here now. All right, let me bring it in. Because when you called me, when you mentioned Alphika, the fixed star Alphika, that is in the constellation of in the Scorpio archetype. I was like, wow, that sounds like to freak you. And it was like, look how them looking for freak out people, right? Through the pandemonium of this.
Yeah, go back into context with that because you may be losing.
No, I'm gonna come back. I'm not. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Alphika is the fixed star in Corona, the crown, or the alpha star within Corona, the crown.
Right. It's
we'll understand that when we talk about Alphika, we talk about the star that's in the constellation or the alpha star of Corona.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Corona, the crown, the star, it's called Alphika.
Alphika, that's right. Right. So.
And we've been freaked out, really. I mean, people have been freaked out over this coronavirus.
Right.
Interesting how the English language is so, precise in this manner.
So the thing is now, it's incited a lot of ideas, people's concepts and what they're throwing out there, okay? And this is where now it's like, we're dealing with vibrations here, right? Remember now? Mm-hmm. And we're dealing with a crown. And we know about the crown energy center. And we can't even go back now. Remember when I'm saying now, the crown in of Rastafari to Selassie, right? And the significance of the crown within our own being. And what, whenever there is this thing put out there, we know it's the distraction. So you don't look in the direction you're supposed to be. Yeah, focusing your attention on. So as we were saying, where attention go, energy flow. People getting caught up, feeding their energy and getting themselves entangled in lower frequencies, which is staged and planned, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is to bring the emphasis to the higher aspect of this frequency when we deal with the crown and why they call it coronavirus so we can share this insight to diffuse the manipulation, the problem, reaction, solution, scenario, okay? To now deal with the higher octave of this crown, because we are dealing with corona, crowning. And rather than we are dealing with virus, poison, we know that there's an antidote to poison.
Yes.
You see? Remedy. All right, remedy to the poison. So it's the remedy to the poison we are dealing with here, yeah?
Yes.
to focus.
So then, yeah, we could talk
energy.
about some of the things that people can do in connection to, just even the scare tactics that's out there. And, we're talking about, building up the immune system, and don't be in fear of the person next door, or the person in the bus is Chinese, or the person in the bus have a cold, or the person in the bus just cough, and maybe I'm catching the virus. It's a cold we're talking about.
Let me give you a joke. Let me give you a joke. I heard the other day, cab driver, pick up this beer. So this dude is in the passenger seat, the cab driver I drive. The guy started coughing. So the cab driver kind of look on him and go, you got a cold? The guy goes, no. He goes, all right. Cab driver's driving, and then, the guy's coughing again. He says, you okay? And the guy goes, you sure you don't have a cold? And he goes, no, I just come back from, what a place there? Yeah, in China. Him just come back from that place, yeah. So the cab driver stopped the car, man. Jump out the car, tell the man, get out his car. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow.
Tell him to get out, right? So, yeah. So when you're saying, you see people's mindset, if they get put up into these things, the frequency. I want to, when we're talking about the remedy, I want to, before we go in there, because the remedy is in what I'm going to be bringing you to, just researching myself dealing with the fixed star that we bring this back to, and see it's in Scorpio, which is life, death, and rebirth. You see what I mean?
Death and rebirth.
Death and rebirth, right? So the correlation again with that correspondence, but I look and see that Fika, the fixed star, is also correlates with Mercury and Venus.
Venus, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it gives.
When we say correlate, just for clarity for people who may not understand what we're talking about, it means that because fixed stars, we don't have no way of judging them except by the planets.
Right.
So in astrology, we would say, well, that fixed stars is similar to this planet and this planet combined, or similar to, because we're familiar with what Mercury represents and what Venus represents.
Right.
So we say Africa is similar to Venus, Mercury energy combined.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So within that now, it's indicating the influence of the energy. The influence the energy can have. Like, for example, when that is in a chart, there, like it's at 3 degrees 9 seconds to 3 degrees 17 seconds of Scorpio,
Okay.
Right? And it's the ability, to keen research, studious one, profound mind, business, government, law, science, arts, and also lies, right? When they try to give the attributes of...
Back up on that, then repeat that again. Repeat that again.
All right. So...
the inspiration coming to God.
All right. So the precepts of this ficus comes into, the ability to research keenly, studious, profound mind, business, government, law, science, arts, and lives. So you can see the combination of Venus and Mercury in that. You see what I mean?
Venus and Mercury, and also Sagittarius and Capricorn. The sign. But yes, go ahead.
Okay. So to not kind of just take this into like we're just here ourselves talking and we understand what we mean, but the other, the listeners, it's just to also, the reason why I brought that up was to also correlate the energies as well. Look at the socializing and the communication and what is being communicated. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And how it's influencing the mind, where you can communicate, and how you're relating to others and relating to yourself. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be coming up to how you're responding to this thing. You see what I mean? As well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But there is a beautiful energy to this. Yeah? This is why I'm saying the higher octave of it, because the lower frequency of the fear is what's going to make people susceptible. You understand? To all mannerisms of mental concepts that ain't been real, but people go believe in these things, yeah?
Well, the north wind is trying to drive them to the hospital. That's what the north wind, that's what the energy of it is like. Go get tested, go get this vaccination, go get your shot. You know, it's all these things that they're hammering to bring up the fear so that they can get them in wherever they want and fence them in. Because that's what the corona is a fence. So you fence in by fear, and then they get to indoctrinate you with or attack you with whatever poison or what they call the medicine
so
that they want to give people.
They want to say it's
so
the remedy.
They first have to fence you in with the fear, then they fence you in with whatever chemical drugs they want to give people.
Right. You see?
And so people need to understand that that viruses can be taken care of naturally, as opposed to all of this artificial stuff that they want to pattern and bring down to people. Making us robotic.
And to inject in there is with the word flu, so people are, flu symptoms and all of this, and we've heard this swine flu, one other name for something as well, isn't it? And before, but flu comes from the word influence, where you get influenza, and where you have flu, and influence means to flow into, right? So there's this whole thing about not catching the flu or catching the cold, and really that catch business is really if you allow those suggestions of it, like the nocebo effect, suggestion of danger, and then your consciousness starts to believe, say, oh, this is what you want, and you become susceptible to it. This is the sensitivity of the mind, and they have this even all, look, you can go research and document all this up, because this is how this whole thing is set up. So the fear, and then you contracted when you're dealing with, now you're in this ring, but a contracted state of consciousness where you feel the fear now make you feel you can't step out of this, or you have to go to them. And then that's the false remedy, the counterfeit remedy for the cause, what they call it, problem, action, reaction, and solution, for them now to make money from the vaccine, because both the disease, the virus, and the vaccine is being patented. So therefore, who own the vaccine, patenting it, them own it, innit, So, so it's
and
money.
You become a pattern as well, because if you take the pattern stuff, you become pattern as well.
Yeah, because
and that's what people don't realize. That if somebody pattern you, then that somebody owns you as well.
Look at that.
So people need to be aware of that.
You see, because what they own, which they patent, is now inside you, and them say, well, look, my thing's that, So it's crazy, but you see, this is the system that's broken down. But you see, the thing is, again, the remedy is in our own self. I mean, as you said, there are simple things we can do, people can do if they are concerned about that, to prevent and them catching anything, any of these suggestions of danger, or buying into the communication in the social arena of people who being caught up in this, oh my gosh, about it, and not understanding the science of themselves. And why you have to, this thing ain't we're just saying what we're saying here, and there's no reality, to the science of yourself, man, or the science of consciousness. So, like taking in some salt water with salt water and gargle it in your mouth, and be perseverance with that. That helps you not catch nothing like that, you see, because salt is also a cleanser and antiseptic, you know what I'm saying? And it keeps the mucous membranes them clear. So there's simple things, as in just that somebody can do. Them have it in their cupboard if you're concerned like that, and I'm sure there's other more things. But if you're moving out of fear, then that's not even a place you need to be in the first place, because all of it is frequency and energy and vibration, and the thought frequency moving through your consciousness that you're entertaining. You with me, my brother?
Yes.
So it's just interesting why I'm saying that this thing, when we're dealing with a fixed star, which is the alpha star that makes the 5 stars that make up the northern crown, it's corresponds to Mercury and Venus. So
And just what's so interesting about it, especially for 2020 or spicy 2020 as I call it, both Mercury and Venus is in the exalted sign at this time.
Look at this, yeah.
Venus exalted in Pisces and Mercury exalted in Aquarius, and they're in the exalted position at the same time. We're going through this pandemic, as they call it.
Yeah, pandemonium. Yeah. Well, my brother, yes, and continue with, the remedies you would like to share, but let's go to the higher octave of the crown. Yeah, because
why not? Yeah, why not? That's the way. That's the way to take it from the height. As you say, move up the ladder in terms of aim high. And I did put out on the WhatsApp or also on the Facebook that people, it's important for them to Google and research about antivirus herbs, because this is where you can deal with viral infection by understanding that there's herbs that are used for virus. They're called antivirus. So I had this kind of wordplay that antivirus herb can take care of all oncoviruses. It's just a wordplay, but it makes a lot of sense, because if we start building up our immune system by getting antivirus herbs, then we are ahead of the game in that sense. And you got herbs like oregano. Very, very good. I remember back in when they had the the war in Iraq, they said that the U.S. government was going around buying up a lot of the oregano oil, because they realized if there's a nuclear fallout from the war, the oregano oil is very, very important.
The oregano oil.
Yes. Yeah. Oregano. It's a very good, important antivirus plant or herb. We also got silver, colloidal silver.
Yes,
colloidal silver. For any kind of virus as well. Yeah. And so people need to do your own research, Google these herbs or that we're mentioning, and I want you to remember this what we say in the Caribbean: what's good for the sick, better for the well. And it's only the naturalists can say that. The doctors, medical doctors, can make those statements.
Say that again, my brother. So let me hear
that. What is good for the sick is better for the well.
All right.
That means when they talk about certain medicine or certain herbal medicine that is good for the sick is better for the well.
Yeah.
But when you talk about allopathic medicine, those that they consider for the sick, the people who are well take that, they'll be sick. Because those are deadly poison. They give people and call it medicine.
Yeah,
man. Deadly drugs or all kind of chemical stuff that they're giving people. So the elder said, what is good for the sick is better for the well, because all those natural ingredients that may be good to help the sick person is make the well person better. And so only the naturalists can talk like that.
Exactly.
So I want people to realize that.
Yeah.
So when we recommend any herb that we recommend for people who are going to challenge the virus or whatever infection, it's also good for if you're eating well, because you're fortifying your system. You're guarding against whatever may be coming.
Well, you hear this?
Wherever.
Yes, I was just saying that you also hear the saying, prevent is better than cure.
Yes, that is key.
So when you take the things, even when you're well, you're going to be even better. Yes, as it go, So prevent is better than cure is also aligned with that,
Yeah. So then there's another herb here, is the cancer bush.
Yes.
Cancer bush being known as very effective when it comes on to viruses and the flu virus especially. It's also good for cancer, wasting away from disease, and it also has a psychological property where, in South Africa where it grows, it's known that when a war, when somebody comes back from war, that this is one herb that they would give them to take away the scourge of war, or maybe the criminality that the person gets caught up in and the psychological issues. I don't know if you're familiar with the book, The Teaching of Dr. Tavener. It's a very interesting book, which goes into, it shows that after war, the scourge of war could cause certain possession from entities that are very negative that may cause the person that goes to war becomes a bloodthirsty, and hence where some of the vampire stories and things come from, because those people become so bloodthirsty because of the war nature that it be part of them. And so if they don't have that kind of cleansing that they come from war, that sometimes in the night somebody may wake up out of their sleep and go hunt for blood, because that energy is or entity that are attached to them from the war. So the teaching of Dr. Tabina is a very interesting book that goes into that subject itself. And so the cancer bush is used to take away that stigma that the war or the criminal aspect of war have on the mind or even the psyche. So it's a very, very, very potent.
You see,
they call it the African jinxing, by the way.
Yeah, okay. And it's interesting. Look at the cancer. How they're saying the many ways it kind of is caused, but it comes down to self-preservation, isn't it, of cells that eat up all the other healthy cells, or the emotion, even self-loathing. You understand? Yeah. These anger, held to the self. These things is all carcinogenic. And what you're saying with the cancer bush is that it helps dissolve those negative attachments, them thought forms.
Yes. The scientific name, well, I should say the other name for it is Sutherlander. So people maybe want to do some research or want to know more about it. It's Sutherlander. I normally carry the cancer bush. It's something that I have. And actually I talk to people about and share. Because it's a very, very potent herb, from the pea family. It's very good for the lungs as well. Because, they say as above, so below. Because of the look of the plant, you can also tell what body part is good for. But that's a whole different story.
Yes. But then we can also see why it works in harmony with we, because naturally we also have the same neurotransmitters that is contained in all of those natural herbs and plants and so forth. You see what I mean? So it activates the natural chemicals in ourselves through the endocrine system, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? It's just like how understanding how it works in harmony. You know what I'm saying? With us, to elevate consciousness, our frequency, and heal and bless.
So the antivirus herbs, they work like a bongsa. A bongsa means somebody goes into the party or the dance without paying, and the bongsa will get rid of them. So they work like a certain police in the body, where you just get rid of any viruses that would create a havoc in the body. So really, by preparing your body, by preparing yourself, and taking these antivirus herbs, then if you even become susceptible to any virus out there, because we're on the bus and the train, we're all over and interlinked with people. We even go to the food shop where people have the severe flu, and they still live serving food. You wouldn't know, because they definitely, some of them, if they have to cough, they may go in another room, but they got the flu and they shouldn't even be working. But they're out there working, because it's all about money. It's not about value. It's not about integrity anymore. We don't have that kind of system anymore, where we say, well, integrity, I'm not well, so I shouldn't be in the kitchen. No, the man will be there, or a woman will be there, cooking away, and he's sick like a dog. So we're picking up virus here and there from all walks of life, even, using public utilities and just everywhere we go. And so it's always important to really just, have the antivirus things that we're taking to deal with, an overload. Because your body can deal, your immune system will throw off the virus. That's its work. The immune system is the defense system of the body. It will throw off the virus. But sometimes you need to have the extra boost from the antivirus herb that would help.
Yeah. And the thing is, it is really boosting the immune system, because carrying these things, which are, you can't say external batteries to give me the immune system even a further boost. It's understanding that, again, now the immune system, now, as if you would correlate with this, but it's also empowering folk to understand the mindset of their own self now. This is what I'm sharing. how Pisces also correlates with the immune system, right, of the body, and how Neptune correlates to the pineal, yeah, and the pituitary gland, right? So now we know that these are the physical, what they call the glandular system, of the chemical system, that are manifestations of a non-physical, yeah, frequency, right? Go on.
You know, the pituitary gland.
Yes.
You know, that's the thymus gland. Yes.
Right. Go on. Well, the thymus gland. The thymus gland. When you're going to say that now, the thymus gland in the upper chest area, which superimposes what they would say is the heart energy center. Yeah. The anahata. That's
what I wanted to. In connection to that, I would just wanted to explain that the Thames also is a symbolic aspect of the thymus.
Go on. Explain that. Yeah, clear that.
Yeah, because the Thames is similar to the Milky Way.
The Thames. The Thames.
The Great Thames.
The Thames River. All right.
The Thames River, because it's like the Milky Way, or it's like the Nile of.
Okay.
You see, and so it's the same thing in and outer, as above, so below, as within, so without.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. You know, so it's in a standing. Look, man. You know how the consciousness, your awareness is the bigger thing in this, because, as I said, Pisces is the represents source. Okay. Pisces represents source because Pisces is the culminating point or the consolidation of the signs. Yeah. So Pisces contains all the other archetypes within itself. Hence why they say Pisces is also can be a chameleon, right? And because it can be any other signs, because it is all.
It's the ultimate.
Yes, the ultimate. Yes. So that's why Pisces is known as the source, and also deals with the immune system, because the source of health, the source of life, yeah, being one with the all, which is what Pisces now represent. Let's go into the next level of it. It represents on the body now, physically, the feet, yeah. So we're dealing with head and crown now, right? So we go with the feet, yeah. We're dealing with Pisces represents understanding, spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right.
Yes.
Now the reason for that now is because the feet stands under you, right? Yourself. So you have your feet, and then on the bottom, they say it's your foot bottom, right? They call it the soul, yeah, your soul of your feet. Now we have soul, S-O-L-E, and we have soul, S-O-L, and we have soul, S-O-U-L, and we know they're all the same thing. We're dealing with the soul, referring to the sun, which is self-created and the firstborn in the cosmos, right? And symbolic of our authentic self, hence why it governs Leo, yeah, 5th house, your authentic self. You understand? The inner light, when one's become aware of their own inner unique light rather than seeking outside for it. You understand? Then there's that self-illumination. Hence again the sun and Leo, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
So when we're dealing with we're dealing with now the feet of, it says because the knowledge you have of yourself, what kind of knowledge you have of yourself? The spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of yourself. Based upon the knowledge, the kind of knowledge you have or understanding, because your feet stand under you, that you have of yourself, do you have of your soul, or do you have of what? The person. What understanding? What kind of understanding do you have of yourself determines where them feet then will take you, because they stand under you. Yeah? So this is then when we are responsible, when we talk about karma, it's really that it's people responsible for their own actions, what they plant to what they receive. It's not no, towering over, looming, fearful, vengeful God that is, punishing you and all of that business. That's based on ignorance of the laws of existence and, you see, process of creation. Go on.
Yeah, what come up for me is that when you mention it as the feet, we stand under the cosmos, we stand under the galaxies, but do we understand the cosmos? that we're standing under.
Which is yourself, because again now, it goes into the original term when it says man know thyself. In the Karnak Walls in Kemet, it was, the full rendition was man know thyself and you will know the universe and the creative cosmic forces of life. So right there, it was even more of an instruction already telling you who and what you is. Yeah? And saying that, you see, the cosmos, as we have the macrocosm and the microcosm, and then we have the term about the universe in you and the universe. You know what I mean? Y-O-U. Yeah, spoke with Y-O. Yeah. All of that is, again, you understand? And then when we're dealing with the U-turn, are you, and walk, the road you walk, no matter how far you go outside yourself, it's always going to turn into a U-turn back to you. You understand? In order for you to find yourself, to know yourself. So we're dealing with the inner cosmos, yeah? And then Pisces now is the cosmic ocean of consciousness, where everything is distilled back into Pisces, consolidated, and then the divine spark emerges, new cycle again with Aries, yeah? So we see the cycle, you know, of the crown and the head. So the relationship between the crown and the head, you see what I mean? As a holistic being, yeah? A wholesome being, yeah? So the immune system now is strengthened by your connection to spirit. And they say that when you are in love, or you allow your heart to open and you're feeling, you remember I did say about on the show I think it was last year, it was about amor, about love, and how amor, am is for soul, and ur is light. And really when we're dealing with the love, when we tap into spirit, the life force within us, is the love of the soul, which is love that we're feeling in another, that we have a deeper energetic connection with. You see what I'm saying? If you're receptive to that level of identification. You see what I mean? Yeah? As soul. So it strengthens your immune system. And when you're not in stress, your whole body becomes so much stronger, and these foreign elements that the immune system is to kick out, like as you said, that the cancer bush, for example, and the herbs them can also be like a bouncer. Yeah? You put it in your body and kick out all foreign elements. Yeah? Yes. So any foreign bodies that ain't supposed to be in at the temple get kicked out. And look how that even correlates to wars and, you know, ridding enemies or foreign invaders out of your kingdom, yeah, your system. You see what I mean? How that is also from within, you know. You see what I mean? That we have foreign bodies, that the immune system, which is the central supreme power now, has the power to defend and protect the integrity of the temple. You see what I mean? Yeah, that the king resides within. You see?
And going back to what we talk about, the crowd, the whole northern, or the crown, or they call it actually the crown of the magician, but we also can talk about the different crowning, or the different like royal family and all of this stuff in connection to the cycle we're in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're in a crowning moment where people are going to be rising based on their integrity, but also people are going to be fall short based on the integrity, because we're up for big challenging this year. And we know that we're getting a kickoff in 2 days. We have the 52-day column coming in, which is the green column of enchantment.
Okay.
Yeah, that coming in 2 days, which is on the 6th of Feb.
Yeah.
And so that green castle lasts for actually 52 days, which is going to take you right to the birthday of the man that they assassinated, which is March 11th. 52. From now till March. So 52 days, which is called the green castle of what do you call it, enchantment.
Okay.
And so people need to be aware of these energies as it's going, because it's actually like it's similar to the last trimester in terms of the gestation period of brain pregnancy.
Okay.
And so the whole Zolkin system is the 260 days is the gestation period. But when we come to this last trimester, which is called the Green Castle, it's like, you know, a lot of things happens or manifest itself in terms of public. know that under this green castle we have we have Mercury going retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
From Mercury Mercury is still going to be exalted beginning of the green castle, but it goes retrograde while we're in the green castle, from Pisces back into Aries. We know that Venus also going to move from its exalted position into Aries, exalted as I call it.
Yeah.
And we know that Uranus is exalted. So we're having all of these dynamics that's happening planetary-wise while we're traveling through that castle of enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of this pandemic that has come in what I call the rusty rat, under the Chinese rat,
the iron rat.
The iron rat. I said it's a rusty iron rat that we have running rampage, and it's already what is called a world pandemic, as they're saying. It's in a lot of different countries, and they're still trying to get a handle of what is happening. But people are dying from less than that anyway. But still, it's not considered that as important.
As it's important,
We don't know where how this pattern come about. But I understand that people are doing the research and realize that there's been certain protein within this pattern that they can trace that it's a man-made connection.
Hey, you just said that. You just said that, and I get something come true here. You see, it says there, Philippines government, right?
Yes.
The Philippines government now are stating Gates, Soros, and the CIA created the virus. And we have here, painted it Canada 2000, yeah? Problem, reaction, solution, was on talking about Gates vaccine, major shareholder, expensive, making money. You know what I mean? Right? These notes here. We're going to go still up high, but there's some things that's coming here, and I think it will be good enough just to share this with the people them, so you can understand that, look, there's many things there showing you that this thing is a stage planned thing, okay? And not to get your wild imaginations based upon what beliefs you may have now, because usually when something like death, you see how certain people just get all, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And next minute, them fall into, certain things that prior to that you wouldn't have thought they would have bought into it. You understand? So various beliefs people have about life, death, and so forth about themselves that they haven't deconditioned themselves from can grab hold of them. Yeah, it seems like. So to understand that, look, man, there's a difference between reality and illusion, but you give power to whatever you hold in to say is real for you. You understand? And so this thing plays, it plays upon a science of who you are that you need to come into more conscious awareness of. Yeah. So I'm just sharing this with people to understand that, look, do your research and come to your own inner sight. So it come up here and it says coronavirus painted on the 22nd of the 5th, 2007. So you have these different days, times, years, but you got painted number, and he's even given the number US 72. Who want to take this down? US 7. Let me make 220852, and then it goes B1, made in the USA by Mr. Paul A. Rota, Larry A. Jettison. I'm just reading this out, man. William J. Bellany and others for the USA Department of Health. Use the Department of Health. Okay, so that's crazy. Well, it's now clear that it created to cause fear, pandemonium, panic to drive folks to get the vaccine. The governments are going to roll out for the masses. Yeah, what we were just saying earlier. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, and them are saying like, what the government's going to roll out for the masses. Then where is it? Oh Lord of mercy, where we go? Vaccine governments are going to roll out for the masses. Be very mindful of the 1918 to the 1919 Spanish influenza, pandemic, whereby 50 million people died worldwide, not from the virus, but from the national vaccine program announced Yeah, goal of the vaccination. Every person, 50 million people died worldwide as a direct result of the shots. It was as a result of public outcry being so great that it was officially stopped. History has a sinister way of repeating itself. Don't be a victim. Boost your immune system, and you will win this war that has been waged on the masses. Be safe out there. Okay? Thank you for the sender there. And that was Gita, yes. And there was this remedy where it's from a Chinese bear who was a pulmonologist who discovered the SARS coronavirus in 2003, right? Suggested simple ways to prevent Wuhan pneumonia. It is recommended that you this is what they call it, yeah? Right? Oh, hang on a second. Got to get Clyde back because what we have is hang on a second. Yeah, call dropped. All right, you're calling me. Okay, yeah, let me read this part, and then we get back with Clyde. So this Chinese pulmonologist who discovered the SARS coronavirus in 2003 suggested simple ways to prevent Wuhan pneumonia. It is recommended that you rinse your throat with light salt water before going to the hospital or other public places, and do the same after you return home. The method is as follows. Hold a mouthful of dilute salt water, rinse your head. Yeah, rinse your head. Let the salt water stay around your throat area. Open your mouth slightly and exhale slowly. Let air bubbles through the water in your throat and make a ha sound. Spit out the salt water after a few seconds. Repeat 3 to 5 times. Because of viruses or bacteria lurk in the pharynx through the nasal passage, diluted water or salt water can kill them on the spot, thereby achieving the purpose of preventing infection. During SARS, I promoted and supervised this method among my students. As a result, none of our students in our class got a cold, a cough, or a fever. This method is simple, effective, easy to do, but requires perseverance. So, look at that, you see? All right, we got Clyde is back. You there, brother?
Yeah, it looks like you're running the barbershop, man.
Yeah, well, I just was finishing reading the message that came through here just now.
Okay, I didn't get to hear it. Can I hear it?
Okay. Yeah, all right. It was, so I finished, you heard the first part where we said that the whole thing is being staged, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
And how, it's about boosting your immune system, yeah? Mm-hmm. Right, and we will win this war. Did you hear all of that?
No.
All right, all right, for folks, so for you who didn't get it first time, you can get a chance to hear this again, because it's useful information. The coronavirus patented on 22nd of the 5th, 2007. Patent number is 7220852, B1. Made in the USA by Mr. Paul A. Rota, Larry J. Anderson, William J. Bellany, and others for the U.S. Department of Health. Crazy stuff. Well, it is now clear that it was created to cause fear, pandemonium, panic, to drive folks to get the vaccine. The governments are going to roll out for the masses. Be very careful. Be very careful. Be very mindful of the 1918-1919 Spanish influenza pandemic, whereby 50 million people died worldwide, not from the virus, but from the national vaccine program. Announced goal of vaccinating every person. 50 million people died worldwide as a direct result of the shots. It was as a result of public outcry being so great that it was difficult, and it was so great that that it was officially stopped. History has a sinister way of repeating itself. Don't be a victim. Boost your immune system, and you will win this war that has been waged on the masses. Be safe out there. And then after that, there was another post sent me where this Chinese, his name is Zhong Nashan, a Chinese pulmonologist, pulmonologist, who discovered SARS coronavirus in 2003, suggested simple ways to prevent Wuhan pneumonia. It is recommended that, and this is what they're calling it, so, you know, they call that in Chinese Wuhan pneumonia, right? But then we got this name patented called coronavirus. Are you there?
Yeah.
And then we got this patented name called coronavirus, but the Chinese called it Wuhan pneumonia.
Okay, yes.
You see what I'm saying? So
it's a form of pneumonia, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's saying suggested simple ways to prevent Wuhan pneumonia, right? Because this thing hits you like a flu, accordingly. Yeah? Apparently.
Yes.
Yeah? So it is recommended that you rinse your throat with light salt water before going to the hospital or other public places. And do the same after you return home. The method is as follows. Hold a mouthful of dilute salt water. Rinse your head. Raise your head, excuse me. You know, I'm glad I've read this again because I think I must have just messed it up the first time. All right.
Okay.
Hold a mouthful of dilute salt water. Raise your head. Let the salt water stay around your throat area. Open your mouth slightly and exhale slowly. Let air bubbling through the water in your throat and make a ha, with an H, ha sound. Spit out the salt water after a few seconds. Repeat 3 to 5 times. Because viruses are bacteria lurk in the pharynx through the nasal passage. Diluted salt water can kill them on the spot, thereby achieving the purpose of preventing infection. During SARS, I promoted and supervised this method among my students, and as a result, none of our students in our class got a cold, cough, or a fever. The method is simple, effective, easy to do, but requires perseverance. So you just don't do it one time, you do it like a thing, yeah? A regularly thing of hygiene and so forth, like brushing your teeth and washing your skin, yeah? So yeah, wow. So there's a lot of stuff there that for the listeners, you can hear that depending on where you're at, if you find yourself or you know some people who are getting caught up in it, but they are maybe just receptive just to be reminded, hey, come on, snap out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what they need. Or folk who's, you know what I mean, just getting all whatnot about it. Well, you can let them listen to this, or you got a lot of stuff here you can take down and do your own research for your own self to, satisfy yourself, your own concerns if need be, or somebody else's, yeah? So, in saying that now, so Clyde, we go into the crown, and we're dealing with the crowning, right?
Yes.
All right, so, on the topic of what we're dealing with, where we talked about some remedies. We talked about, on a vibration, on the spiritual war level, if you want to put it that way, non-physically, which is really just a manipulation of your consciousness. And when we was talking about the feet, let's bring it back to spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, What kind of understanding do you have of yourself determines where them feet will find you ending up in it, right? Because they stand under you. So they're directed by the knowledge you have and what kind of knowledge you have of yourself. All right. So the next sign to emerge now as a new cycle, where out of Pisces, is Aries. And we've had Venus exalted in Pisces. So through this exaltation now, and it's completing the cycle to be moving into Aries. You see what I mean?
Yes.
To indicate a healing, you can say, because we had Chiron. Do we have Chiron in Aries now? Healing the illusion of separation to the sense of who we intrinsically is. Yeah, Aries, self-identity. Are you with me? Clyde.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
What? Did I zoom to where there? You eating, bro? What you doing?
No, I hear you.
I know I'm kind of speaking kind of rapid, maybe, but it's the way it's coming through and the dots that are connecting. All right.
Okay. So, in other words, we're in a crowning moment this year. Some people may be losing the crown. Some people gaining the crown.
Right.
And circumstances or tests that we're going to be going through or experience this year is what's going to be the testing ground for whether you lose your crown or wear the crown.
Okay.
And people need to realize this. Because, all these activities, negative, are stemmed from these things where people have been challenged or dealing with different issues, and how they deal with it, the outcome is whether they gain or lose.
Right.
And so that's why we talk about these cycles as they're happening planetary wise, so that people don't get confused or get not even confused or blow their own fuse.
Yeah, that's a good
and they regret because there's no replacement.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
So,
carry on. No, carry on, Stan.
No.
Please carry on. No, I was just going to inject to say, judgment came to my mind when it was with Saturn. How you have to learn to also restrain from judgment. You know what I mean? Judging yourself and judging others, because the challenges that's going to be coming up. You see what I mean? You don't know what you find yourself in. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So this is what is going to also be necessary to be more receptive to the guidance, all right, that you get from, the innermost high spirit within you, of you. Yeah? Realizing, about your connection to spirit. Because, you find there's a lot of this, like to solve a problem is the dependency upon the intellect and the limitedness of the human earthly desires and the way of perceiving, try to work things out, get answers. And there's a greater power than that. Yeah. And this is also, I feel, a time of where the foundation of the beliefs which deal with the Hierophant, you want to say as well. Yeah? 52, 5 and 2 are the Hierophant and the moon. Okay, you can see how it correlates.
Hierophant.
The Hierophant, yeah. And the moon.
Okay.
You see what I mean? 5 and 2. Yeah? You there?
Okay.
You see what I mean?
5 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't get the 5 and 2.
Well, 5 is the fifth. The 5 is the
fifth tower card.
The major arcane. So you're dealing with like spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers, so to speak, priests, card. It's really associated with that kind of theme. And then we got 2, which is the moon. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So the emotionality of the attachments people will have to their religious beliefs or what they consider is the spiritual teacher or whomever. You understand? And the challenges in that area as well,
But as you talk about the moon, we're coming. That's another crowning moment as well, because we're having a full moon.
A full moon.
In what let's say 5 more days.
On the 8th.
In the 4 and 5, 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
9,
yeah.
And that's the Leo full moon, which is the royal sign.
All right.
Royal, which is the crown as well, because you got Regulus. We're talking about fixed stars. You got Regulus being the alpha star of Leo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Regulus means is like the king of the crown.
Yeah, regal.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have in that, and in Zimbabwe they would call it the Chamanuka moon, because the Chamanuka is like the warrior or the master teacher,
right,
who's symbolic as the lion warrior. And so that's coming in the night in connection to all of this. This is coming in under the green castle of enchantment.
Hey, well, that sounds like, look at that. That message come through again to kind of say, well, look, it's about being a spiritual warrior. Tap into the spiritual power of yourself. You see what I mean? To guide and protect you through this, because, nothing can harm you. This is the thing. There's one thing, it's one thing to kind of like, be in a place where we can speak confidently in what we feel we know, right?
Yeah.
And then the challenge has come, and how people lose themselves, leave themselves, you know what I mean? Things fall, you're just gone, how things can happen, right? To really see where do you stand, in yourself, because it's not, this is about, well, are you, this is more about, when we're even chatting about the integrity, it's like, where are you, are you just thinking this, that you know this, or are you really establishing yourself in the experiential truth of it? Because when push comes to shove, it's a thing where, you understand, it's how you react or how you respond to whatever happened, because, you understand, and is there enough awareness in the moment with you, with all what you would say, I'm aware of, and so forth. It's not a judgment, but I'm saying it's about a challenge, as we're saying that this is what it's coming up with. So I'm going to be, I think even crowns may be restored, because you can see that there's been those who have taken people crown, and while we're a crown that not rightfully theirs. You see what I mean? Yeah, usurpers. Yes. All of that has happened. So you can have restoration as well. You know what I mean? Go on.
Yeah, let me turn the towel on this, and then the remedies as well. We say bitter herbs is better than sweet. Bitter herbs is better than sweet lies, and so it's very important for people to realize in this time and for what we're going through that the bitter herbs are very, very important. A lot of people don't like things that are bitter, but the bitter stuff is like, the bitter stuff is more, is good for the body. They say sweetness is the weakness, so therefore bitter is strength.
Yeah, cleans out the blood, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, pures the blood.
The Mars energy. The blood is the Mars energy.
And look at that, the Mars energy. So, yes, brother, do you have anything else you feel coming through? We want to kind of expound on this. We've reached a point where we do have a little more time. But do you feel...
well, we're saying for people whose birthday fall within this castle as well, they need to be mindful. People whose birthday fall within the retrograde cycle, which is Mercury retrograde, it's important to let them know that that the retrograde is anchored within their chart based on what they call the solar return. So if your solar return falls on a Mercury retrograde or planetary retrograde, you have that retrograde going to you or following you through the whole year based on your solar return. So be mindful, people in Radio Land who are listening to this, that if your birthday would fall, because the retrograde starts on the 17th of Feb, Mercury retrograde, and the Green Castle starts on the 6th, So that is anchored within your chart for the whole year, because the whole year your solar return is sets you up for the whole year spin in that sense. So be mindful that where things maybe seem retrograde, because you're locked into that retrograde for the whole year based on your solar return.
So what would you say the qualities of that retrograde in your view and insight?
It's time to wheel and come again.
Yeah, well, we know the wheel and come again.
Miscommunication, that things that happen, you got to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. You got to make sure whatever information you're getting, that you're you're very informed, because sometimes we think we hear this, and especially in Mercury retrograde in Pisces, we think we hear something that is not said, and we act on it, and it's not actually being said, and it's not something that you should be following. And so people need to be aware of that, especially when they're locked into that for a whole year.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you with that.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, miscommunication, misperceptions. Yeah. So on the level of it also, because you have people that them hear retrograde, then oh Lord, come through with them, and you have people who are born with Mercury retrograde star. We have retrograde planets, so it's not something that you need to perceive as, oh gosh, not another retrograde, to regret. Say that again?
I'm born with Mercury retrograde as my ruling planet.
Wow! Well, there you go. And I know a few other people too who's got that. Yeah.
But you can come out of the retrograde during your life because your planets are progressing.
Yeah.
So therefore, you kind of see things different. You kind of you tweak things a bit different because you're kind of dyslexic in one sense. So you see things that people may not see.
Yeah.
In that sense, and you can vice versa. So it works for me in certain ways in that sense.
Well, this is what I wanted to kind of just touch on a little bit more on the giving a different perspective on what retrogrades can be like for the benefits that it can give, because the conditioning of many is to we narrowly put things as good and bad, you know what I'm saying, and it's like things ain't good and bad like that, man.
For me, I'm very careful, especially when the Mercury goes retrograde, because you get your time wasters there. You get people call you for things that doesn't exist. You get people put you on that wild goose chase, and so you got to be very careful, And I know guys a couple of times, and I'm very mindful that when it comes, a lot of astrologers shut down during the Mercury retrograde. Because they don't want to get caught up in the pandemonium, redoing things that they're doing.
And you see the word pandemonium again, the timing of all of this coming out, and with the virus thing and the retrograde in the communication department. You see what I mean? Yeah, and perception. Did you hear that? I don't know. If you're not looking clarity. Because the delusion, with we got the Neptune and Pisces. If you're looking outside of yourself, depending upon,
Well, we could talk about the retrograde in connection with Pisces, because Pisces is another aspect of health. Pisces and Virgo are the balancing of each other.
Yeah.
And Virgo deals with the physical health, while Pisces are considered deal with spiritual aspect of health and healing. Mm-hmm. And so, because we're going through this so-called pandemic, as they call it, you can have outbreaks where you can have contamination, you can have different things that manifest itself because of the retrograde mistakes that are made that create more issues on top of the issues that already present, and sometimes misunderstanding. And so people have to be very aware of this during this time as well, as we go into the retrograde. We got a couple of days coming. But we also will be in the Green Castle. So we got the Green Castle, the retrograde. All of this stuff is happening, all interlinked. And when I say the Green Castle, I want people to look at it as the trimester. Where the last trimester in hospital, ready to give birth, and that's the most painful cycle. And all kind of doctors busy or nurses busy because they don't want to have a bridge situation and they don't want things to go wrong. And so the pandemonium starts happening. Sometimes people act out of turn or out of nature and do the wrong thing. And so that's what happens during the time where you have the Green Castle and the retrograde Mercury. People are very much chicken with the head cut off.
I'm hearing that.
Operation.
So vibrationally, let's before we go, how can we, I can go into what I could go into, but just with sharing with you, the spiritual translation of this on the level of, the raising in consciousness, the expansion of consciousness, the empowerment of, again, the way things are interpreted, sovereignty can be returned. You see what I'm saying? Where we had the sun conjuncting the Saturn and Pluto, right? So the things that has happened also with the amplification of the energies of the eclipses are still there. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We have
and the winter solstice, we're still going to that until we get to summer.
Right.
And we're in the volcanic cycle. So all of that is about cleansing, getting rid of, but also it's a time to get in a more, it's not really a time to speed up the mode, but a time to be more relaxed, a time to be more centered with yourself, so you can handle these things, know, because if we're on the edge, it's easy to fall over. And a lot of people are already on the edge. And that's why we say maintain integrity, because you could be a crowning moment for you, as opposed to losing integrity. Because a lot of people will lose integrity and the crown. But a lot of people gain on integrity, gain the crown. And so people that are on the edge, it's easy to fall over. And so if you're on the edge, then deal with the issue that you're up against. You know, because then these energies help to kind of push you over the edge. So therefore, if you need to take some time into terms of relaxation, meditation, you know, yoga exercise, or something that would make you more relaxed, massage and things like that, just get more relaxed in that sense. And, you know, because the mind is more powerful in its quiet state than its active state. People don't realize it.
Yeah. Wow, brother. Yeah, you see, this is great. And just a little bit more before we, you know, this is why I want to bring out a few more of what, you know, just to help activate what I know is there. You understand? So you can share your insights on the more, you know, on the spiritual level as well, because we have the physical, practical, you know, herbs and so forth that many people are very interested in, and you know, it's a very important, plays an important role. But we know that the ultimate is the inner being. You understand? The deep inner eye, your state of consciousness. As you're saying that some people, you know, about meditation and centering yourself in this time, because you know, not even just in this time, this is something that we should be, you know, being, you know, more rather than doing so much with the do. Yeah, you do all over the place, and it's this need to really understand the management, self-management in its true sense, you know, because if you're gonna, you know, as you said, certain people are walking with gasoline, I would put it, you know, and all them need is a spark to set it off, yeah, and you have others who walk in with some water, yeah, or walk with water in themselves. So if gasoline hit, spark hit, there's nothing for catch, yeah, for explode. And it's the process of becoming more of the water. You see what I mean? In that sense, or fire water in at this time where you're not dealing with gasoline, you know, to be triggered. So the spiritual aspect of this, where we're dealing with Pisces here, and as you're saying, with Virgo is about the physical form, but it was also the health of the body. Was very much as the food that we, you know, what you nurture it with food. We all also know that food isn't only what you put in your mouth, yeah? So we have, you know, thoughts that are nourishing or toxic, you know? You have feelings that are nourishing or toxic, you know? You have you have states of consciousness that are going to be more nourishing, spiritually nourishing to your whole system, because when you have that connection to spirit, you're dealing with, this is where the vitality of the body is also connected. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? The health of the body. Because you're not just dealing with the body. The body is there to be looked after and healthy in order for it to be the temple, yeah? Because that's why it's the goddess energy, the purity of consciousnness, yeah? For the vitality of spirit to operate in it, to keep it healthy. You see what I mean? Yeah? Virgo and Pisces are two opposites that are about becoming aware of a direct relationship with Source, Virgo and Pisces. You see what I mean? So there is a correlation to do with becoming more, you know, deeperly in attunement with who you really are as pure consciousness. You see, to be able to have that awareness, that broader presence of your true self, yeah, as awareness, to see through, for your intuition to be able to blaze through you, to not get, you know, this is what I'm saying, to be guided, yeah, to be guided through, you know, this pandemonium, who, you know, and with the retrograde, what is a good time to actually positively get the positive side of it if you're going to do more meditative practices. You see what I mean? Yeah. The retrograde. Yeah.
The retrograde means to go in.
Go within.
To lock into the self.
Yeah.
So, and just remember remember when we talk about the crown and we talk about the north wind is not the hot wind, it's the cold wind. That's why we call it cold. It's the flu.
Tell me what. Yeah. Yeah, man.
And so that's what's coming, during that, especially because we're in the winter cycle now. And the highest aspect of winter is actually under Aquarius.
Yeah.
The center of the winter cycle. Yeah. And so, yes, we're in the flu season, and when we talk about you talk about the pneumonia, sea moss is a very good food that people can also get involved in terms of, because it gets rid of mucus in the system that breaks down into the cold and creates people like you sneezing and you coughing. People think you have the crown, the corona. And you really don't have a positive crown there.
You know what I mean? They want to lick off that crown, boy. Like, Yeah, because people are going to flip out and just jump to some serious, premature conclusions, depending on the temperament of people, like the cab driver and so forth. Yeah. So, yes, my brother. So the crown, I want to end it on the crown note, of the Ascension crown, where we're actually going there by saying how we, you see, because it's also about opening the crown. It's not necessarily a physical crown, material crown that people may associate and think. You see what I mean as well? Yeah? So it's the opening of the crown chakra, and what are we dealing with when we say the crown chakra? Yeah? We're dealing with the 7th energy center vortex, right?
Yes.
Right? So we're dealing with that 7 again, 5 and 2. And is where we, one makes, it's like that direct connection to our spiritual nature and our capacity, right? Our spiritual nature and our capacity, and to allow ourselves to be fully integrated with that awareness of ourselves. Yeah. So it's your direct connection or conscious awareness that you are the higher self. Some would say that you have the higher self and lower self, which in a way you do as the personality and the soul. But it's the integration. It's to know that your true self is the higher self. And so the crown, okay? So you got from the crown to the feet, or the crown to your toes,
Yes.
And in between the spelling of heart, H and T, you have ear. And you're dealing with the intuitive ear of the heart, you see, that attunes you and keeps you in balancement with the cosmic resonance and earthly resonance within you. Hence why the heart, the spiritual heart center to be focused upon, to give you the balance we need, and to be able to flow with whatever spontaneous action your true nature wants to move in, because your true nature is spontaneous, and you would know through the glow of how the intuitive intelligence speaks, through you, if the intellect is, hence why the meditation is to kind of quiet this thoughts, this intellect, this busy mind, the mind that's more concerned with mental concepts than direct, experiential perception. So there's a need to quiet that mind down in order so you can see clearly to the bottom of the well, so you get a clear reflection of your true inner self, the deep inner eye. So this is opportunity to get, some would say, grounded, but more rooted in your spiritual, time to yourself, for yourself. Realize there's the true source, higher power that does exist. Totally nothing like the establishment that we talked about earlier and what is coming down. You see what I mean? And what's also going to be deconstructed. Belief systems, the foundation those belief systems were built upon. So you're going to see there's also going to be a so-called, lack of better words, but spiritual crisis that links in. Because, with the pandemonium, you're going to have people thinking all kind of things like, their religious beliefs behind why this is, Oh, it's one of them plagues God has sent, you know what I mean?
The Macho Mark, Luke, and John people.
Right, so that's going to be a next little layer to the thing, star. And then there's going to be, oh, well, this one now feel challenged because what them I think, what them believe is no. And then the next man come with his thing because the foundation of those beliefs is being going to be challenged big time. And the foundation is, where is it in you? Where are you in you? Do you even really, all these things are going to get questioned. So this is where you're saying integrity, and so forth is going to be tested. You see, where you can lose your integrity and the crown. You know what I'm saying?
And the crown,
or you gain your integrity and you regain your crown, or you maintain your crown. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're flowing, how you're flowing, where you're going. You know what I'm saying? So you can see, you can already feel and read in the energy fields, the different ways things are planning out, because it's all happening within you. It's all within your consciousness. Everything is taking place within you. You know what I mean? How you perceive everything within the space of awareness, your consciousness, you know what I mean, within yourself. So yes, don't get tangled up, people, if you can. You understand? Because, Cosmic Root Show is about the cosmic reality of oneself, and this is where, it's not a dictator, sure. It's a liberative, of a consciousness expansion show. So, Brother Clyde, any last words? Well, no last words, but for now, you would like to say on a crowning to this show this evening? Because I think a lot of people.
We got. I don't know what the time is, because
it's 10:28.
Talk about the four wave spell. The four wave spell of the green castle starts with the red moon, and the red moon wave spell is very. It's normally in the red moon was the way the master teacher come forth, because this is a time of chaos or emotional overload. And so as the castle opens up under the red moon wave spell, you get the emotional overload of 13 days. And so this is where interesting harmony needs to take place, where people come forth and addressing or updating or helping out as masters for people who are facing suffering or crisis in their life. And so this is why it's very interesting to understand the energies within the energies that are work. Then after that red moon wave spell comes the white wind, which the white wind wave spell deals with communication overload. Okay. So you got from emotional overload to communication overload.
Mental emotional overload.
Yeah. Then after that, then you got the blue eagle. That blue eagle is symbolic of Jupiter, but Jupiter is in its it's in its fall. And so this is the eagle does do with high place. You understand? That's what eagle. So you can see the falling from high. This the things that happen. Then you got the yellow star, which is the yellow star is like energy of Venus, which Venus by then I think Venus would be in Aries, over exalted. And this is where sisters have to be very careful with the Venus in Aries, because sometimes they're too powerful under that.
Okay.
Because after they come out with an exalted Venus in Pisces, in Aries, they're like, I'm the Dan. Dan woman, So we have to be very careful under that
Alpha woman.
Because we're in a height energy, and
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Clear that. Clarify that. Yeah, clarify that last little piece there, sir, for the sisters.
Yeah.
Clarify that last little piece again for the sisters there.
What you with the female?
Yeah, with the female them. Yeah, with
and the Mars. Well, not Mars,
Venus.
Venus in Aries, because Venus is exalted in Pisces.
Yeah.
When she moved into Aries, it comes with that exalted energy. So I call it the over-exalted Venus.
Wow. My youngest daughter's got Venus in Aries, and I got Venus in Pisces. Just started. Yeah.
So they walk with like, I'm the
boss woman, them. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's how you deal with the energy, sisters. You know what I'm saying? It's about balancement, man. Because you have boss men and boss woman. You have ones, ones, people who come under the birth date of ones are usually boss individuals. I'm born on the 19th. Or if your numbers come to a 1, you know what I mean? Like my daughter does, both of my daughters, man. So and then I come and I am a one, you know what I mean? But the boys don't come with a one. So that's quite interesting because you see it in the energy. You see it, man. It's not just like, oh, you know, these things are made up. You say, okay, let's test this. Let's see the experience of this. Yeah. And it reveals itself, Star. But you have to understand how to deal with this energy because you need to have a balancedness in the one. Because if you're unbalanced as a one, Lord, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? As a woman, as well as a man. Yeah. That's not very.
We also have to talk about, healthy. You know, in connection to this year, we know that the poles, but the nodes are changing.
Yeah.
And when we got the North node in Gemini, it means separation.
All right. Look now.
Because we have to see things from both sides.
Wow. Look, man. Look, if for those who are still tuning in, you know, if you can, you know, if you've been able to flow through all of this, you know, it's like a movie. You know, it's like you can see how all of these scripts are playing out to how you can see how someone's tapping into time, right, in a time wave way, to be able to make movies which are predictive programming, something that plays out decades later. And you think, what? And then it's not like, oh, close to it. It's not like, oh, well, I suppose you could. No, man, the thing is like verbatim. You know what I mean? The way it comes out. So when we're talking what we're talking, and, you know, you see the phases. You can see, like, say, wow, as you're explaining through the different stages from the Green Castle, you know, onward. You see it unfold like a script.
Yes.
Yeah? But you see that you have free will within it, though. You see what I mean?
There's always free will.
The more of your awareness. Yeah. Okay, Clyde. Well, bro, you know. Do you feel you've...
the crown of the North Wind.
Mm-hmm. The crown of the North Wind, the Corona. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, you feel we've... for you, do you feel we've said everything you wanted to kind of get out there for the people to know with this show?
The important thing is that the people can know that they're armed and they can do something. They don't have to wait for something to do them.
Right.
You know, we sit back home, do something before something do you. You know what I mean? And it's so important. You know, don't just wait for virus to come and not tell you where to go. No, you can't tell the virus when you come. Be done ready for you last time before you even make your way. Actually, because I'm ready, you're not gonna come.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
Yeah, man. Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Clyde, thank you very much for, yeah, man, coming on the show again. You know, we've done a Trinity, bro. So that's a thing, you know. Yeah, tree. You understand? So consecutively, and it's
thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So yes, so Clyde, yes, we're gonna close this show down to listeners. So Clyde, I'll leave it to you to say good night. You know, good shadow hour. Before
just respect to Radio Land, and just thank you for those who are tuning in. And we're on the WhatsApp, we're on the Facebook, and we're also on the YouTube. You know, so people can still link us. We're still there. You know, we got information out there, and we arm the people and still. You know.
Yeah. All right.
With whatever we have, whatever we have.
Yeah, we can share it. Yes. All right. Okay.
Respect.
Thank you, Clyde. Wonderful. We'll talk. We'll talk again soon. Okay.
Good.
All right. Yes. So that was Brother Galactic Clyde, and the crown, the North. Wow. Yeah. It's a bit of a sentence. I got to look back myself on the the title of the show, yo. I mean, there's a lot. It's jam-packed. There's a lot of stuff there. Okay? You just have to listen back to it. Holy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Just in a very light, wonderful mode, Yeah, good spirits. That's the reason why they say the meaning behind this thing about, being good spirits, high spirits. Yes, So, yes, the title of the show this evening was, yes, the Corona Crown of the North Wind. Yeah. Versus this coronavirus thing. So we've given you a lot of information here, a lot of insight. It's not just factual stuff that, some of it is facts, but yeah, for those of you who listen with your intuition very vividly alive, and vibrant within you, you will, you receive those insights and so forth, and, the gratitude, it's there in you if you resonate with the information. It's already there. So whatever levels, different levels and layers this tonight's show was able to assist others with, then let it be, but eyes good of all. So in that being said, I'm going to be saying good Shada Awa Young from Brother Siayome, Cosmical Mystic, aka Ab Ankh Ram. And yes, the north wind is very cold. So you know what they do in the cold is to go within, you see, and deal with the hearth fire, the flame within, the hearth fire, go within, and be in that alchemical transformative soul flame of life, okay? Be the observer, do not be a jerker, and react to all the things going on now. Be more aware and present to yourself. Be compassionate, be understanding, overstanding, breathe, yeah? And, own yourself back. Yeah, there you go. So with that, I bid you all, cosmic soul brothers and sisters, a beautiful Shada Hour. Okay.